We have the footage.
Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Coming at you again tonight with some more of that discharge that shit. And hopefully we'll have a better time tonight than we did last night. But before we get started, hit that like, share, and subscribe for me. There's a PayPal link down below for anybody that wants to share some love. And I'm going to drop the StreamYard link just in case you came in and it's not there. Anybody's welcome to join the panel. Open discussion as we go through this. So there's the link for anybody that wants to join. And we're going to get right back into it again tonight. Last night we left off just where they were starting at the UCC. And she's of the same thinking that I am. The only UCC I would ever use is the cancellation of debt, pursuant to owe no man anything but to love one another. So we're going to get back into it here with the same video at the point where she starts discussing the UCC.
Hey, come back. Okay, you guys see the 1099 that I have up? Okay, this is the only 1099 that I will tell you to touch. I don't do the A's, I don't do the OIDs. You guys can research it for yourself. People end up in jail. It is not for us to fill those forms out. But now the 1099-C, we can most definitely fill out. And you will send a copy to the company.
And the reason that you shouldn't be filling those others out, like I said, those are all, actually all the 1099s are for vendors. However, like we discussed in the purchase order thing, if they're the buyer, you're the seller. So in that type of situation, it's much like the performance of the functions of public office. You're performing the same function. So here, functionally, you're going to cancel the debt because it's considered you're a party of that debt system. So you have the full powers, the plenary powers, to go ahead and cancel that debt. Again, they're using your name and attached a number, and you get to use their forms. There are very specific ones that you can use, and there are others that you really just shouldn't.
Send it to the trustee. Everything that you're sending will always go to the trustee. Always remember that. The trustee, the trustee, the trustee, because they are the only ones that the Security Exchange will go after. They are the only ones who have the lawful duty to process these 1099-Cs for making sure that we get our securities. Everything is on the trustee. So when you fill out one of these to put in your envelope, the creditor is not the United States Treasury. So for everybody who's been put in the United States Treasury, that is not what you fill out. The creditor will be T-Mobile, Ally Financial, whoever it is that you got the credit from. That's where the creditor's name go. You will also get their EIN number.
So this would go the same with your utility company. It would be the utility company. The water company would be the water company. Anybody you're dealing with directly that considers themselves a creditor in equal consideration and equal benefit, you two get to be the creditor to cancel the debt. So they would be the other party that could cancel that debt.
Along with the postal treaty, I will send you guys the master list that I have. I cannot promise you every name is on there, but I got the majority of all of the company's EIN number. I would also still double verify that that number is still correct, because we know they like to change stuff, but that is an updated list.
And there's another thing you can do is look up whether that company is in good standing. Like I mentioned yesterday, when it comes to Iowa, they call it a fictional name registration, and that is the same thing as a DBA. And all it does is it lets the state know that you're operating in good standing. That's the result of that request, because as the initiation of the DBA in that name, nobody else has done that. So it's never been taken to that step of incorporated status as development. It's never developed to that point. So all you're going to do is help it along its development. Even though there's an impossibility created by that enumeration at birth through that United States citizenship, again, equity does not allow an imperfect gift. So in an imperfect usufruct, what you do is you try to perfect it the best you can, and this is the Cypress doctrine, which is near as may be. And since it's still usable and has a certain intent for benefit, you can still use it for that benefit, and it's called recoupment. It's through certain processes, like I've been talking about, you merge. So instead of saying I'm not a United States citizen, which you aren't, what you do is you let them know the differences and that you're going to merge that title. And that's at expenses incidental to transfer of title to the agency and then to the United States and then to the Postal Service. And it's actually going to end up in a merger of trust, a trust merger. And I'll talk about that after I get done with this series. I'll talk about what's called a reverse Morris trust.
So you will put their name and information there.
And Warrior of Truth, I see in the background, but it says devices not connected. So maybe go out and come back in and try again. It says devices not connected. So there's no way I can let you up on the stage. It won't give me anything until you connect.
EIN number there. If you can't find it, leave it blank. Direct them to fill it out. But here you will put your social security number. You will put your name there, your address, city, state, zip, whatever the account number is, goes there. The date of the identifiable event, if it's a car contract or a house contract, you know what day you bought your house on, put it there. If you do not know what goes there, leave it blank, direct them to do it. Because
and what she's talking about here, a house contract, if you go get a loan, you're not actually qualified for that loan. And what happens is you end up with a promissory note, and that's a debt instrument. And you're going to cancel that. You weren't supposed to operate on debt. You were supposed to be operating on credit. And that's the whole point of this. They're doing things, they're ledgering things without a qualified signature on the debit side, and that creates the debt. Whereas if you give it the equal consideration, there is equal benefit, because like I said, on their side of the ledger, they've got the debit and credit side, and they're keeping track and keeping their books balanced, but it's a double ledger system. So on the other side of that ledger, there's another credit debit T ledger, and the debits are there, but nobody's balancing it. That's all we're doing with the cancellation of debt, is showing that there is a credit there, and it's got to be balanced because we received a credit as equal consideration. And if we didn't, then the contract itself is not valid. Contracts have to have equal consideration. So anytime you find out there isn't equal consideration, you can either go back and point that out to have that corrected, or rescind and cancel that debt.
the bank will be the one who is actually filling out this form. Trust and believe me, they already filled it out because they had to March 31st. You putting it in the envelope is to let them know that you know that it was supposed to be discharged and that you were actually supposed to receive copy B of this. The amount to be discharged, I always leave blank because we really do not know. So like when you go get a car, even though your paperwork might say it was $92,000, they actually went off of the original OID, which was the sticker window.
Right, the window sticker is actually the price that you should be putting on those. But again, you got to remember there's other things that you can include in there if you want to give equal consideration to have that trustee do his job without hesitation. You can let him know that that percentage that he generally is supposed to get, you're willing to give him just a slight bit more just to help motivate him into doing that research so he knows that what he's doing is worth it. So again, it's a matter of getting things on credit and just letting him know, hey, I'll throw you a little bit more credit if you, at least, do your job and know that this is all on the up and up. I'm not trying to commit fraud. I'm coming in with clean hands. And clean hands says that it's an impute to fulfill an obligation. As I see it, my part of the obligation is making sure that that contract is true and correct. I'm telling you that information and the way you're using it is in error. That's all we're doing.
And then they sold it for a discount. So we really don't know what the amount is, not unless you are doing this for a credit card bill. Monthly bills that you currently pay, I will call them or I would download and I would add up every bill that they charged me for from January to December, plus the amount.
And this is for stuff that you've already paid, and it should have been done through that coupon remittance, like we've been talking about here lately with the treasury stamp and the qualified signature and everything. So when you find debts that are old and they're still on the books as a debit, you can still cancel that debt because it's never been finalized. It still remains on the record as a presumption. And you can do that by validating the debt. The validation of the debt shows the true debtor, and it's not you, and yet you're the one that came after. So you cancel that debt, and you're supposed to receive those credits back.
That you paid, and that is the number that I will put there. For the debt description, if it's a light bill, gas bill, student loans, or whatever.
And as we talked about the other day, and it was mentioned, there's a dividend on those, so it comes back double. So these kind of values you should be doubling for that purpose. If there's supposed to be a dividend on there, then just double it. And if they have a problem with it, they'll do further accounting.
Whatever it could be, you will write that there. If it's a car, you'll write the VIN number. If it's a home, you'll write mortgage, and you can write the land info that's on your mortgage contract, or you could just say mortgage contract.
Property taxes, again, they are assessed due to the element of doing business. If you're paying property taxes, you damn well better be having a business there. And if you don't, they damn well better be knowing it and fixing those records, because that's the only reason for property taxes is for commercial purposes. So if you're living in a home and you're not running a business out of that home, they're not supposed to be assessing that property taxes. And that's because everybody's doing the deeds and titles and everything wrong. And that's the county holds that title and everything, or the liability. They hold the warranty deed. And so the presumption is, again, that it's a residence known as a principal place of business. It's the wrong claim by a volunteer action of resident. Get rid of the presumption of resident and the distinction between the American and the United States citizenship that was conferred upon them as a gift. Equity does not allow for an imperfect gift.
Box number 5, absolutely make sure that you click, because you are the debtor that is personally liable for the repayment of this debt.
And like I said, on one side of the ledger, you're the creditor. On the other side of the ledger, you're dead. On the ledger, you're a debtor. Same with them. Whoever you're dealing with has to keep their ledger, and you're supposed to keep your ledger. This is the problem. Nobody's learning how to keep a ledger and then making sure that they match. And it's your ledger that's in fault because you ain't even got one. They're keeping track. They've got a ledger. They've got a ledger for you, and you're supposed to be fulfilling that side of the ledger. Nobody's taught you how to do that. And again, that's through the proper discharge. And again, folks, discharges work across the board, whether it's bankruptcy, mistake, or beneficiary.
The identifiable event code, we don't know. That is some inter-office things that they have going on. Leave it blank. The fair market value of the property, leave it blank. In your instruction sheet, you are to advise them to properly remit your 1099-C so that you can properly do your tax return, because all cancellations of debt is supposed to go on our 1040s. You are to also instruct them to send you your copy, which is this copy, for the debtor.
And that 1040 that everybody's been taught to fill out, that's a contributions form. Technically, if you're an actual officer or agent of the federal, state, or municipal government, you're supposed to be filling out a 1041. And then if you're not, you can fill out a 1041V, which is a voucher. Otherwise, that 1040 doesn't matter who it comes from. There is no distinction between foreign or domestic. It's considered a gift, whether it's foreign or domestic. It's still a gift tax.
That they are to provide you with a copy of it and documentation showing that they have transmitted it over to the Treasury. You can also print out your credit reports. Go down your credit report and do a 1099-C for everybody on your credit report. Stop getting all of this stuff removed off of your credit report and then you have no credit score. Yes, do I know we don't need a credit score? No, we don't. But we have to learn the ability to live in the public while living privately. So sometimes you might still have to sit down at the table with these people to get what it is that you want to turn around.
Greetings, Truth and Empowerment. And I am dropping a link. J27 made got a thing about the property tax and going to tell them Monday that it's private. This link I'm dropping is what's her name? I'm having a brain fart again. Jennifer Ruby. And Jennifer Ruby is excellent on the land patent stuff. So there's a link to go ahead and check that out for you. And it's got contact information in there. And like I said, she's great and knowledgeable. I'm sure she'll be able to help you out. And what do you got for us tonight? Truth and Empowerment. Good to have you on panel.
Hey, what's up, Keith? Can you hear me?
You betcha.
First time panelist here, man.
Well, welcome aboard. You got anything for us? What piques your interest in the topic here tonight?
Well, I pretty much have been paying attention to all this stuff for 10 years and watching you and Paul and pretty much everybody, Derek. My other account is a son of mine, so I've been back and forth on channels. So I've been going to the classes and trying to learn as much as I can to do the discharging and all that. So
awesome. Well, here, hopefully I'll be able to start showing people how to do that here pretty soon. Because what I've gathered with my research is you definitely have to be able to merge a trust. You have to be on the level where you understand the trust law and how they operate so you can assert yourself in those positions rather than as a contract officer. Greeting, Russ. How you doing tonight?
Greetings, brother. Good. Hope all's well.
As usual. Land patent is still a commercial instrument, is it not? Yes. And that's why I say when we're in this system, it's a usufruct, and it's considered an imperfect usufruct because of that impossibility of the title. There is no such thing as a United States citizen, folks. There is no record of a United States citizen that is born in the United States because the United States has no birth registration, and the United States as a debtor / creditor, like I said, if you're going to be the creditor and you have to take on that opposing dynamic of being a debtor, and the United States is known as a debtor, then consequently they are also known as a creditor. So it's a matter of knowing what position is being played when and how to assert that position. That's basically what we're talking about. You can't perfect the title, but you can express your position and authority in equal station. And again, that perfect title can't be perfect because it's always titled a United States citizen, which is an impossibility. So the best you can do, as near as may be, you can accept that, adopt it, and resurrect it into a new name. and we lost Truth and Empowerment. Says device not connected again. So I don't know if he's got a weak signal or what, but
Possible. I know that's what happened to me last night. Come a big downpour and just cut me right out.
all right, let's get back to it then. I'm glad it's going better tonight.
Around to send a 1099-C. I have a gentleman now actually went and got a car. The same day he got his car, he sent them people a 1099-C. Within a week, they updated his credit report to 84 payments paid as agreed, and it shot his credit score by 100 points. And he had just got it because he immediately sent them the 1099-C. Any debt over $600.
So imagine that, folks. Fixing a credit score, instead of writing derogatory letters, making threats that you're going to sue them in court if they don't remove the bad credit. Instead of doing that, learning how to make a valid credit agreement through a purchase order that you're not even supposed to be using by educating them. There isn't nothing greater than value. That's expressing the true credence. The true benefit is the knowledge. So by going forth with the knowledge, that is the credit itself, in essence. That's the spirit of the law, is credit.
Has to be discharged because of the bankruptcy that the whole world is up under. So if it's over $600, they will get a 1099-C. You want an 800 credit score real quick? Print your credit score, your credit report out, and do a 1099-C for everybody, whether it is student loans. But now make sure you go the extra mile and tell them to now deposit your security in your TDA account. They charged me for from January to December, plus the amount that you paid. And that is the number that I will put there. For the debt description, if it's a light bill, gas bill, student loans, or whatever it could be, you will write that there. If it's return, because all cancellations of debt is supposed to go on our 1040s. You are to also instruct them to send you your copy, which is this copy, for the debtor. That they are to provide you with a copy of it and documentation showing that they have transmitted it over to the Treasury. You can also print out your credit reports. Go down your credit report and do a 1099-C for everybody on your credit report. Stop getting all of this stuff removed off of your credit report and then you have no credit score. Yes, do I know we don't need a credit score? No, we don't. But we have to learn the ability to live in the public while living privately.
And that's absolutely true. Living in the public while living privately. This is one of those things that we have to realize. Again, I quit all the banking and the employment and everything like 7 years ago, and I didn't get a PayPal card here until just 3 years ago, and that was based on the premise that I had to get it through somebody else. I didn't have a bank account, so he gave me an extended manager's card from his bank account so I could establish some purchases to show PayPal that I had some sort of credit in order to get a card. Once I got that card, then I canceled the other one. And that's basically what I've been operating on. No ID, no nothing. Qualifying signatures. Any signature that I did give was most certainly qualified, whether it be trustee for my companion or benefactor. In any kind of private notice. The only thing I've done recently was that dismissal for the bench warrant for failure to appear for jury duty. And that was kind of an unexpected thing. And I didn't do anything but, again, give them private notices and then walk into the court and reiterate the private notices. So just knowing how this stuff works and being able to make that distinction between what you're doing and where you're at so that it can have its proper effect is a major thing. You have to understand every situation is a creditor-debtor situation, and you have to play your part. If you know your part, you can do that. But if you don't understand this and have never been taught it, it's because of the indoctrination, and I too went through it. So again, I appreciate everybody paying attention and wanting to learn the true benefit.
So sometimes you might still have to sit down at the table with these people to get what it is that you want to turn around to send a 1099-C. I have a gentleman now actually went and got a car. The same day he got his car, he sent them people a 1099-C. Within a week, they updated his credit report to 84 payments paid as agreed, and it shot his credit score by 100 points. And he had just got it because he immediately sent them the 1099-C. Any debt over $600 can be.
Any debt over $600 can be canceled. And this is one of the things that I went through with PayPal is, see, they recently changed the payment laws through these accountings that anytime you receive more than $600 in payments in a year, they're supposed to send you a 1099-K, which then you can turn around and rebut with the 1099-C. So in effect, it's either way they want to do it is fine with me. But the problem is that if they do it on the payment system and issue me a 1099-K, that would say that I'm liable for taxes. But I didn't use the tax identification number for any purchases or sales. So it would show that everything came in through the accounting, and the accounting assessed taxes, despite any facts of whether it was given as friends and family or went through their payment system that automatically considers everything a payment. It's ridiculous. So once you understand this stuff, it's much easier to operate in this commercial system without being caused that harm, damage, and injury. And again, it's more than just these contracts and the cancellations of debt. Again, it's about the trust, knowing how to operate that trust.
It has to be discharged because of the bankruptcy that the whole world is up under. So if it's over $600, they will get a 1099-C. You want an 800 credit score real quick, print your credit score, your credit report out, and do a 1099-C for everybody, whether it is student loans. But now make sure you go the extra mile and tell them to now deposit your security in your TDA account. Okay? So if you owe $100,000 in student loans, you're going to get $200,000 back.
See, and that's because they assign your signature the value. So anytime you're applying for a loan, if you want a loan for $150,000, it puts $150,000 of credit into the system, but they use the monetary system. So that credit is still there. What we have is a system that takes the definitive paper form, converts it to an electronic book entry. Once it's in that book entry, it's on timestamps and security certificates. It's already got them. So it's securitized, and then by entering them into an electronic system, this is the blockchain system. So now those credits are in there, and they never deplete. They never deplete. Because they're supposed to go back to you. The credit is always supposed to go back to you. If it doesn't do anything but keep gaining more and more credits, if anything. They can't debit from that credit. They're debiting from you. All you have to do is fix where they're supposed to debit it from. There's credits already there.
It's the way that they created the system. I didn't come up with this. I just figured out how their system works, and this is how it does work. Okay? So that's the one discharge. I feel bad. I got 5 people waiting, but I'm at capacity. They waited too late. Okay. So that's the 1099 discharge process. So we went over opening up your treasury account, the importance of opening it, And for us that's been doing this a long time, I know y'all like, wait a minute, is that it? Yeah, it's really that simple. When I actually figured out their system, I kicked.
And so that 1099 would be for like a bankruptcy situation or a mistake or beneficiary. You could use any one of those as the reason for a 1099-C.
myself a couple times. I've been at this for 10 years. I don't know how many affidavits. Have I gotten a lot of results? Yes, because I don't pay bills now. None of my cars are registered now. But when I tell you I had a lot of nights writing them affidavits and getting those and having to do it over, when I learned their system and started using the bank properly, I don't even go to the regular banking side any longer. They're going to send you to the private banking side. They're going to give you a private banker. You will do everything through that banker when you set yourself up properly.
Quiet.
And this is what I was saying about the postal service and the back office. If you're dealing with the public, you're in the front. If you're dealing with private, you're in the back. It's a back office, front office situation. So if you're dealing in the private, you deal with a private banker in a back office, not with a public teller or a public financial officer in one of the booths out front. You're always in a back office, closed doors, and that's it. Learn how to make the distinction and understand how to operate so that there are limited performances of functions of public office in public, because you're always operating in private, whether you're out in the public or not. This is their onus probandi of privacy, right? In camera. That's what the First Amendment auditors are always screaming about. Well, learn how to use it.
Okay. So once again, you're just going to locate the EIN for the creditor. You're going to fill out your portions for the debtor's information only. You're going to add up the full amount, current bills or promissory notes, throw it on that 1099-C, send a letter of instruction to make sure that they run your security through your TDA account, not unless you don't want your money back and you just want it to be discharged. You don't have to do the treasury step. That's totally up to you. This is your life, your trust. But I'm going to make sure that you have all your options. Okay. The next way to discharge is through an international bill of exchange. Because everything that we are doing is international, the International Bill of Exchange is authorized under the UPU Treaty, which is the Postal Treaty. You can create your own International Bill of Exchange to pay your bills with.
Talk to me, baby.
I will make sure that you guys have a copy of what one look like.
If you can create your own international bill of exchange, if you can create your own promissory note, if you can create your own company, if you can create your own trust, how is it you don't know or don't believe or don't understand that you can make your own stamp based on heraldry and the coat of arms and the family cross or family crest? See, it's all uniform throughout all jurisdictions. The First Amendment, the right to express yourself.
You can Google what a copy of one look like. Just make sure that it says International Bill of Exchange, not just a regular Bill of Exchange.
And protected under a treaty, under the Treaty of Berne, again, like I said, for the literary and artistic works of your own creation. If they don't allow you that, are they not, in fact, violating that very treaty by saying you can't create your own?
A bill of exchange is a kind of paper in order that its holder shall entitle the debtor named in the document to pay a certain amount of payments. The bill of exchange represents a means of payment and an instrument of providing the payment. So the bill of exchange have a dual role. It's the payment and it's an instrument, because remember, we are only allowed to use instruments to pay off our debt. It is an unconditional order given by the drawer to the drawee to pay a certain amount to the payee listed on the bill of exchange. The bill of exchange is generally a paper on the orders, but it can be issued as value paper to a name. What it means by that is you can take a commercial piece of paper like that Southampton linen paper, create a bill of exchange, and make it out to the name of a bank. Okay. Whatever amount you put on that bill of exchange is between you, your God, and that bank. But when I send you guys the banking dictionary, which I
And that's where people are thinking to use that birth certificate. It is a American bank note, and therefore it is bonded. It is an obligation or other security of the United States, and therefore you can negotiate it as a security instrument on credit.
am going to send you, you will see that it says that if a customer brings you a bill of exchange, international bill of exchange, you have to credit their account for that amount. So once again, whatever amount that you put on that bill of exchange is between you, your guards, and that bank. Now I'm gonna go be a go home type person, and that's all I'm gonna say. It is such a promissory note where the issuer becomes a clause not by order. The bill of exchange, through it, appears as a means of payment and an instrument for securing the payment. It also appears as a means of international payment because the bill of exchange can become a modern instrument of crediting in payment. Because the banks are using a credit transfer system when it comes to our securities. This
Exactly, and that's why an electronic payment is guaranteed. Because once it's entered into the system, it is credited. It's known as accreditation. It's already accredited because it's already got a time stamp and a security certificate in the electronic form. Therefore, it's a conversion from the definitive paper form into an electronic form. It is now accredited.
This is why the International Bill of Exchange is the highest level of an exchange. So for an example, you went to the car lots. You got a purchase order. You found the trustee. You signed the purchase order like a check, and you sent them a bill of exchange with it. I think y'all know the rest. You can take up a bill of exchange, create one, take it to your bank, and tell them to deposit it. They will take it.
So the bill of exchange is the same thing as a letter of credit, which is the same thing as a letter of instruction, which is the same thing as a private directive under a private placement rather than an initial public offering. You're able to operate in the security realm yourself with a private placement as set, not to be a floating rate note.
If you don't want to do, always put your postal stamps on any of your contracts. But as a second guarantee, you can add in an additional international bill of exchange. This is something I wanted to say. When you are doing the 1099-C process, in your instruction letter, you make sure you request that they give you back your tender. Make sure you use the word tender because you have sent them the wrong tender. You sent them an IOU, and by law, you have actually not paid your bill. So I get a little sarcastic sometimes with these people, and I be like, oh my goodness, I just realized.
This goes to the concept that once you pay off a house, if it was bought on that promissory note that you signed, they're supposed to give you that promissory note back, but they never do. It's still out there because the signature wasn't qualified, and that's the whole scheme. They got to try to get you into this payment system that will have you paying outrageous prices. And if you can make it, they're the ones that win. And you still don't have a full payment recorded because you never got your promissory note back. And it's still out there and they're still making money on it. Or they've already collected on it. It's already been called. It's already matured.
That I have not truly paid you. So here's your payment with promissory note. And I need you to run back all my FRNs, my floating rate notes, however you want to call it. They do give it back to you. Okay.
That's the record of all those fines, fees, and penalties I was telling you about, the costs and surcharges and taxes, child support, mortgage payments, insurances.
I will make sure in the file section, I'm gonna see if I can make this a little bigger. Hold on. This is an example of a international promissory note, an international bill of exchange. You can make it negotiable or non-negotiable.
And you can look these up and find template forms all over the place, guys. So my apologies, you can't actually see this one here, but they're quite similar, and you just have to learn how to construct one. Again, it's a matter of learning the different languages and how they work and being able to say the exact same thing, even though you might structure it a little bit differently.
Negotiable. Just know that if it's negotiable, the bank is going to sell it. And that's fine. Let the bank sell it as long as you tell them to make a beeline in your TDA account. Okay? Whatever you do to the bank, make sure they beeline to your TDA account so that you can get 2 times the amount. You can stop being an enemy of the state. Okay? And you can enjoy the fruits of your labor as a beneficiary. Okay? The third way, and I don't know what happened to the PowerPoints on that one. So the third way to discharge your debt. Everybody knows that if they say they have a lien on you by law, it has to be listed under the UCC lien. Okay.
And this is where that UCC 11 comes in with the state. The UCC 11 will tell you if anybody is claiming a debt against you. That would be the lien. And if it comes back there's no debts, just like the Treasury Offset Program, then nobody's actually got a lien against you. It's a false claim, because otherwise it would be listed in the record as such. There would actually be a valid lien. And no, you don't necessarily avoid templates with boxes. You don't use the templates except to create your own. Again, I never suggest using somebody else's templates other than to learn from them through research so you can learn how to draw up your own. It's a very important term, draw. If you're using somebody else's stuff, then you filled in something else that or something that somebody else created. It's very important to remember the aspect of creator and my yea be my yea, my nay be my nay. That comes to comprehension. Your yea can't be your yea if you're using other people's stuff and don't comprehend it. So the best way to show that you comprehend it is being able to draw these instruments up your own, yourself, when you present them to the trustees and stuff. That way they know they're not templates, and they can get a sense right away that you have a rather good comprehension of what's going on. And that's the important part. And yes, would most of liens on a UCC 11 be fictitious due to there needs to be a final judgment? That's another valid point. Very great point. I'm glad you brought that up, because on the other end of the spectrum, if there is no final judgment and they're placing a lien like they did through my companion, that's the proof that they didn't validate the debt. That's evidence they did not validate the debt. If they validated the debt, they would find that there was an error in the routing because of the unqualified signature, that you can rescind for knowing that you made an error, a mistake, and have the ability to rescind and either rectify it or rewrite it due to either an inconsistency or an impossibility, respectively. Rewrite it if it's an impossibility so that you can make it possible. And if it's just inconsistencies that can be corrected, then you correct them.
So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull. Anybody on here got a car note right now or anything that you got to pay? Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Okay. Hey Mo, I can't hear you. Okay, we can hear you now.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Nope, I can't hear you no more.
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm doing well. Greetings, everybody. Am I going in and out?
When it comes to that UCC1, I put all my property in the UCC. The best way to do that, in my opinion, if you have a file of all of your property, then the only thing you need to put down in that collateral thing is all real and personal effects. And then there's a case law that you can use on that. And I'll look that up real quick. But in my opinion, if you're going to do a UCC1, it would be best deemed all real and personal effects for private viewing, record of all list of inventory or property, subject to request for private viewing only. Something like that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. It's just a little
Guys hear
choppy.
me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Okay. So you have a current car note?
I do.
Perfect. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me pull up something. I want to show you guys something, okay?
Okay.
Give me 1 second. What state are you in?
I'm in California.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's not where it is.
Okay, so you're in California. Give me 1
Yes.
second. I'm gonna share my screen again. Oh, I can't let you in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can't let you in. Somebody gave up my. As usual. Can I have your first and last name if you don't mind?
It's Monique Miller.
And you have a current car note there, and they say that they got a security on you, right?
It's MONIQUE.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Miller.
Yes.
You see that? What'd that say? Did I spell your name right?
Yes,
So that's your name, right?
it is.
And you're in California, right?
Uh-huh.
And they say they got a lien on you, right?
Well, they just like saying, I got the card, the contract right here. Here's where the card goes.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? The law says, if it ain't in the UCC system, because we are up under the UCC laws, they don't have a lawful security against you.
Wow.
So now you say, what's my next step?
Yes, what's my next step?
All right, then. And
Yes,
this goes
ma'am.
for anybody on here. You have to look in your particular state. It has to be in your state, wherever. If you got the car in Florida and you move to Atlanta, you got to go look in Florida, okay? When this pops up, and I'm telling y'all that it will, because the liens for everything, guys, was 21 days. They put them in the system long enough for the deeds office or the Secretary of State or the DMV to put a lien on your title. You're going to order a certified copy of this from your state. There is a way that you can order it either online or over the phone, or if you're close to your Secretary of State in your state, physically go down there.
Yeah, you can do a public records request because this is something you can look up online as a matter of a public record. And so you can just make a public records request.
And say, hey, I just need a UCC 11. It's called the UCC 11 search, and you're going to give them your name. They're going to give you back a document certified that shows exactly what you see on this screen. Done. Okay? If you go down there and do it, as soon as they hand you the document, showing you that you have no liens, you take that car contract with you. The law says, and the Secretary of State website, and every state says, because I checked, that you can right then under oath say that the debt has been paid, they will release your liens. From the DMV, if it's a car, from the deeds office, they will release it. You can do it physically down there, or you can do it, and at that point, you would have to write an affidavit. I ain't writing no more affidavits, but you can. And then you can mail it in. Because you know that there is no liens on your property, everybody lien your own items. Okay?
Okay, so what this does is gives you first in time, first in line as a lien creditor, so that if anybody makes a claim against your property as a lien creditor, anything you are owed in those transactions must be paid first. So this goes to the equity thing in the house. So if they want to foreclose on your home and they foreclose, guess what? You're the first lien holder. Now they have to recognize the equity has to come to you, and they have to pay that up front. They can't wait until they sell it. They have to give it to you up front. They have to pay it off first. They have to pay out the first lien creditor first before they can move forward. Same with your car.
You
They're
go
coming
back
to
into the
repossess
same
it.
UCC system.
They're coming to
I'll show you.
repo it.
Every state is different when it comes to the price. I always do one in my own state, and I also do one in New York, because New York is the head of all states. New York is the head of every last state. That's why the stock market is there, the UN is there, everything is there. I also filed it there, because once you file it there,
A non-UCC lien, you can just file a notice in the public paper just like you would anything else, any other kind of legal notice. Because a legal notice is all that UCC1 is. It's not an actual lien. It's just a notice that you're the first creditor in line if anything is placed as a judgment against the property of such and such. That's all you're doing. So again, you can use a UCC1 as a format to draw up your own document as a public notice.
it goes everywhere, including the PAYDEX system. Okay. So let me show you Supreme Beam. I'll get to you in one. I'll get to questions in 1 minute. I promise y'all I'm gonna get to everybody's question because I know y'all got them. So when you go to lien your own items, let me show you guys how to do a UCC. You'll go, so I'm on California. So you'll go down to file a lien.
And she's on California, so she's doing it in California. If you're on Iowa, you do it in Iowa. If you're on Minnesota, you do it in Minnesota. Same thing with this fictitious name registration. Everybody for many years has been saying, I just do the DBA 220 from Minnesota. Technically, you're better off doing it from your state because your state is going to recognize their forms. They're going to be familiar with their forms. While at the same time, they're all going to be familiar with the concept that, yes, it's in good standing. And that's really the only thing that we're looking at.
You will be filing a UCC1. Theirs in California is very cheap. It's $5.
Still worshiping the Romans. Exactly right. We spoke yesterday about the Navy War, the Postal War, and now in modern times it's a banking war, but the banking wars are working for the Postal Service, and the Postal Service is the Royal Navy of the royal houses, the imperial houses. All roads are postal Romes, and they lead to Rome.
I'm waiting for it. Okay. Of course, it's going to try to make me sign in. Isn't that something? Let's see how long it's going to take me to make an account real quick. And you can do this for all of your property. House, car, kids. If you guys continue with me, when I show you guys how to take over your accounts, you're going to have to do one anyway. Because as I stated, I have figured out how to take over every last one of our accounts.
No.
So you have to do a UCC.
They were
then,
just
but if you
out
are in the process of discharging your car in your
hour
house
and a
right
half
now,
ago.
I would
So
say go
wait,
ahead and do this UCC. Let's see. I would normally read that, but for time constraint, I'm not. So for the consent for the submitter information, it will always be you. Okay. Organization name, you don't have to put anything. You can put your phone number and your email.
sorry about that, folks. I forgot my mic was on. Yeah, Nubs. This is one of those things. I call up the Treasury Offset Program every so often. You know, like about every 6 months, I'll call them up and ask them if they've got any debts listed against my name and number, and they always tell me no. It's been a few years, 5 or 6 years since I've done a UCC 11, but all I had to do was that one UCC 11 in the state that I'm in. And like I said, these people know me. 93 fucking cases, 94 now. These people know me. They know me through the activity in the record. And I'm telling you, I'm not playing games, and they know it simply because of what I'm putting out and the knowledge that I have now. Just the UCC 11 and the Treasury Offset Program are the two main distinctions that I picked up on years back. And that's why I don't think they have any authority, and they know it. That clerk is in deep trouble if they ever want to come after me again with another issue. This last one, jury duty, it was too simple. It was too simple. And like I said, I'm going to have that whole, my goal is to have that whole record expunged for what it is. It's supposed to be entered into the National Archives at the end of the lifetime. And if it goes into the archives at the end of the lifetime with those statistics, it makes it look bad, not just for me, but for the United States. So you would think somewhere along the line, someone would want to be in agreement and say, yeah, you might be a little right there. You might have a little correctness in there.
Email address. Okay, so now for debtor. Okay, now when you do the submitter, that will be you in your upper lowercase. The debtor will be the all caps. So you make sure you write it in the all capital letters. Okay, put the address and all that good stuff in there.
And I just dropped a link for her on Facebook. This is her name is
down to the secure party.
Her name is Tamika Lindell Thorpe.
That's where you'll put a name in. You'll put it. The secured party is the all caps. So you'll put that there. And I will make sure you guys have a UCC example for you guys who've never filed one. I will make sure you guys have an example as well. Now for the collateral, this is where we wanted to get to. If you're holding it in trust, you'll put the trust. But right here under the description, in your case, Ms. Monique, you will put the VIN number, the make and the model. If you have a registration or any of that, put that in there as well. You're going to now lien your own items because there's no lien on them at all. So lien your own stuff. Okay. Once you lien it, nobody can. Now, the reason that the lien is gone, number one, all liens are temporary for 21 days so that they can commit fraud. Number two, only the original creditor can lien you. Once they transfer that note, and trust and believe me, they transferred it before you got out of that seat. If you read your contract, it tells you that you give them the right to transfer it. Once it's transferred that first time, that's it. Nobody else can lien it on that side, but you can lien it. So make sure you lien your property. Okay, guys.
So I do this after I go to the treasurer. I could do this right now.
Oh no, you can do that right now.
Got it.
I tell you guys before you go down to the Secretary of State, lien it, because what it'll show is that it's a lien there, but the only person that has lawful right to the security of it is you.
Got it.
Okay, that's just like If you guys move on and decide to take over your accounts, you're going to lien everything. For you guys that know, that says that Congress said that every card is a credit card. Yeah. So if you got a library card, it's a credit card. If you got a CVS card, it's a credit.
You hear what she's saying? She's talking about 15 U.S.C. 1602. Credit card means any card, plate, coupon book, or other device used to obtain money, property, labor, or services on credit. And that includes access devices such as phones, credit cards, social security cards, library cards, laptops, desktops, anything used to access data elements. Period.
Credit card. You know why? Because every company has an indenture trustee, and that is the bank. So that is how they said that every card is a credit card, because they know that every company is backed by a trust bank and a regular bank, which is all backed by the FDIC. So for y'all who think that the government is holding your trust.
And this is in that electronic system. Like I mentioned, the definition of a merger is literally saying that you're acknowledging you're not going to stand as a or operate as a standalone bank. So it's a cooperative agreement. Remember, we did that thing about a cooperative trust. That's what we're talking about. It's cooperative agreements outside of the contracts as benefactors, cooperating with the system that's already designed to allow the credits to flow as long as you know how the benefit system works.
It ain't the government, it's the FDIC. The FDIC created a process, which will be coming soon, for you to take over those accounts. And it's very simple, and it takes 3 days. Okay? And I want to help y'all now get rid of your current stuff so that you have
3 days.
So that is the third and final way to lawfully, based off of their rules, not Tamika's rules. This is their rules. And y'all ain't heard me say not an affidavit once.
Absolutely. Like I said, use their words against them. You don't have to argue. You don't have to fight. You just have to point out what's there and have them correct what's been put there that shouldn't be there, because that's what their rules say. And I got to take a break real quick, folks. I shall be right back. If you guys got anything to say, please feel free. Oops. Okay, I got your note in back chat there, Truth and Empowerment. I'll go ahead and take a look at that when I get done with the stream tonight. And then in the meantime, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Remember, there's a PayPal link down below in the details section for anybody that wants to share some love. And I shall be right back.
I was not playing when I say the day of the affidavit of truth is over. It's over.
Truth is already there.
1099-C, every single company. Fill out your portion, send it in. They direct them. You guys are the beneficiary. Stop saying the creditor,
And again, the important element on that issue of the affidavit is that you submit affidavits to courts. We're not dealing with courts except through the commercial venue, which is the cancellation of debts. Anybody wants to bring anything against us, we cancel the debt for its commercial intent, because it's causing a debt. Again, that's a violation of the very laws and the foundations of their entire system. Owe no man anything.
beneficiary.
And that's why when you go into these contracts, you got to know those elements of the equal consideration, equal benefit. Because if it's truly equal consideration and equal benefit, then it is to a benefit to all parties and not to one's detriment, while the other one is making unconscionable profit from it.
We are to have the enjoyment of all wills, trusts, and contracts. That is Congress' definition of beneficiary. So for those of us that's been in it for a minute, we so used to saying we the creditor, scratch it.
Wills, trusts, and contracts. Remember, it's always three-layered, just like the bankruptcy, the mistake, and the beneficiary. So when you're dealing with contracts and it's always involving trusts, then you have to remember it's always got to have somebody's will. This is what we always discuss about the free will. If you really think you have free will, then you better learn how to do these contracts so you can fucking express it. Excuse my language.
That's why my name on TikTok is Life of the Beneficiary. We are the beneficiaries. And what I'm going to do is to show y'all how to live like a beneficiary. And as beneficiaries, all we do is direct. We tell them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, which is why it's important that the Indentured Trustee Act of 1939, you guys read it. That is your playbook on what you can tell them what to do. They got to follow it, because when y'all pull those trustee forms, you're going to see at the top where they said in compliance with the Security Change Act of 1934, in compliance with the Indentured Trustee Act of 1939, in compliance with the Emergency Banking Act. That is why I've given you guys those. So for everybody that's reading Title 15, throw it away. Keep it in your back of your memory bank. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need TILA, because guess what? Even though TILA says that they in violation, guess what we did? Just like Miss Monique in that contract, she got in her hand, she signed it. She said she understood it. You can't be an Indian giver and go back now and say, oh, you defrauded me. No, you didn't read it, you didn't understand it, you gave it to them.
But now that you do comprehend it, now you can rescind, go back, correct it for its inconsistencies or impossibilities, like I said earlier. This is acting in honor. So again, she's correct. You don't need the Title 15 and all that, but it's wise to know them. So you, again, Isaiah 54:17, no tongue shall prosper, and let no tongue rise up against you in judgment. You're supposed to condemn, though. The only way you can do that is by knowing it, knowing which jurisdiction they're playing in and which jurisdiction is to your best advantage to get that benefit. That's equity, and that's handled through common law, which is in personam and not in rem. States operate in rem. It's got to go through the federal. So anything in commercial venue going through the federal has to go through the Department of Treasury, which is internal within the Internal Revenue Service. Therefore, it's all a tax issue for the insurance underwritings that are false.
That's why it don't work. Accepted for value don't work because it's a check. You're supposed to deposit it. You only can deposit it if you got a TDA account open. For those of us that's been doing this a while, I know y'all like that just cannot be it. Oh, it absolutely isn't. It is one of the most easiest.
And this is what I've discovered in some of the research here is that opening that TDA account, now that it's converted to credits, now they can, it's a guaranteed system, it's a guaranteed credit system. So now if you've got an enterprise payment system or another bank account or anything, you can direct that transfer of credits to any of those accounts. Not just so you're not limited to just having that local community credit union account in the trust name or a bank account in the trust name. You can actually have it set up for many different accounts. And again, this is the concept of having a trust and then having multiple trusts underneath that trust, each one with their own different capabilities of running whatever kind of corporate entity, whether it be a sole proprietor for Johnny's trust fund, a college fund or whatever, and he's got his own lawn care business. And you can set those kind of things up if you know how they work and keep everybody out of the private contracts.
Processes that I have done, because for y'all that know me, I don't bring y'all nothing that I have not tried and tested first. I ain't bringing y'all what I think I know. I'm bringing y'all what I know now. It works. That is because that is their system that they put in place, but they didn't tell us. So the Emergency Banking Act of 1933, get yourself familiar with it. The Indenture Trustee Act of 1939, get yourself familiar with it. The Trading in the Enemy Act, I already told y'all how to stop being an enemy.
And that's that thing about the 50 U.S.C. 4305. We're talking about the full acquittance and discharge. That's a military operation again. Police, the martial law chiefly affects the police and the collection of public revenue and taxes. I don't know why they would block you from your TDA account, but hopefully we can get you some help to have it corrected. Greetings, everybody. I'm going to open the panel for comments. Like I said, Ascent of Mind, I'll look at your email when we get done here and give you a response sometime tomorrow, probably. In the meantime, what's on your mind? Welcome, Nubs.
Hello, Brother Keith and panel.
How's it going?
Greetings, Nubs.
I spent the morning listening to another one of her videos, writing every step down, and I'm getting fucking out of this system.
We hope so, brother. We need a lot of people walking together, and I think this is, we talk about this awakening thing, and this is an acceleration time, I think. More and more people are gaining the access. Like I said, the English language is a beautiful thing. This internet is a beautiful thing. It's the greatest library in the world. It allows us that First Amendment freedom of expression and the opposing dynamic of the right to know. It's allowing us to be able to connect. And even though many people don't see it happening like they'd like it to, it really is working. It's just not as quite as effective as we'd like it to be at this point. But again, I do see it accelerating.
I'm actually, I'm talking with my companion, and I told her the other day, I said, you need to get a notary's card or a notary stamp. She said, why? I said, because I'm going to be notarizing the shit out of stuff, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah. And remember, you don't necessarily need a notary either. She mentioned the, what is it? The medallion stamp signature guarantee. So you can work directly with your banker for any kind of documentations, letters of instruction stuff, because we're not going to be dealing with the courts so much anymore.
No, I'm talking about for court documents, and for those particular documents, the beginning process to get out is going to take a lot of notaries. Then after that, that's when the medallion signature certification comes in a lot, as well as Minnesota 220.
Well, and that's that 220 is that good standing thing that's done in any state. And the notary, again, you got to remember there's an opposing dynamic for everything. And for the notary, Imperium Privatus puts no need for notary 2 or 3 witnesses, and that's the same thing. So it's just a private type of notary. King James Bible, Deuteronomy 15 or 19 verse 15, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established.
Right. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm all about that. I just think if we're playing in...
I'm just saying, there's an opposing dynamic that you can use there.
Right.
And it's one of those things kind of like jury nullification. If we educated people and they used it more, then the public people, the public servants would recognize it more and know that they don't need a notary. It works the same. Right now,
Right.
they're still stuck in this thing. They have to have a notary, and a 2 or 3 witness thing doesn't count sometimes. It's because these people are ignorant. So it's still a
Right.
matter of education. And I again urge you, education is the true benefit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just
The
see
true
it
value.
where. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's actually the true value.
I just see it that if I'm going to be putting packets together and it has witnesses, this, that, and the other thing versus stamps that they cannot refute. Yeah, like that's your stamp, buddy. Like you ain't refusing your own shit.
Yeah, and this is the thing that you can use. United States Code and statutes can be used as evidence of fact in law. 18 U.S.C. 112 or something like that. I'll have to look that up again. Unsworn declarations under penalty of perjury. Unsworn because you're not supposed to swear, right? So you give them an unsworn declaration, and this is what's missing. The declarations. That's that unsworn declaration that's supposed to be made at the enumeration at birth as an opposing dynamic, right from the start. Wherever under any law of the United States or under any rule, regulation, order, or requirement made pursuant to law, any matter is required or permitted to be supported, evidenced, established, or proved by the sworn declaration, verification, certificate, statement, oath, or affidavit in writing of the person making the same, other than a deposition or an oath of office, or an oath required to be taken before a specified official, other than a notary public. Such matter may, with like force and effect, be supported, evidenced, established, or proved by the unsworn declaration, certificate, verification, or statement of writing of such person, which is subscribed by him as true under penalty of perjury and dated in substantially the following form. If executed without the United States, I declare or certify, verify, or state under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct. If executed within the United States, its territories, possessions, or commonwealths, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So this is a presumption of being within the United States, even though it doesn't say United States. This one here says United States of America, which is supplemental, a greater existence than the United States. Go ahead.
You know you're not
Interesting.
sharing screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me get back to that then. And I'll drop this link in the chat. And it's very easy English to read. And thanks for that, Imperium.
Interesting story about this whole getting free, breaking free. I realized at the age of 18 that I was not okay with paying these taxes. I said, this man did not show up for work. He does not get his bread for the day. And I went down to the Social Security Administration office in my little local town there. And I talked to the lady, and this lady scared the shit out of me. She's like, you're going to die. Well, I would love to go back down to that same office. Unfortunately, it's been 20 years plus. So, yeah, she probably doesn't work there anymore. But I sure would like to see her on the street one day and say, here you go, bitch.
Greetings, 27 mate. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, man? I've bought land over time, and I never wanted to pay taxes on it, bro. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I knew it was something about, there's a way, like I say, through the promissory notes, which y'all been talking about, and They put, actually, it's 32 acres that I have. They put it up on the chopping block, man, and they were going to take it from me. But I called them and I told them, I say, look here, man, I see my properties up on the chopping block. I see y'all got it at auction, and I'm about to call the Secretary of State. I'm here in Texas. And they end up going all the way to the date of the auction to cancel it. I mean, I don't know, because I sent them a promissory note. I sent them all the paperwork, affidavits, let them know what I want them to do, take the money out of my Sister K account, everything like that. And I was like, man, you know, it's a blessing that they put it, you know, they canceled it, but I think they were trying to bluff me all the way up to the day of the sale.
Absolutely. And that's that's an interesting story because again, it goes to your plenary powers, you having the full power to cancel a debt. It's the same thing as having the full power to redeem the land. It's the same thing, just different ways.
Yes, man. I mean, they run me through the ringer, man, because I would call the what do you call it? The law office that would handle, you know, them putting it up on auction. And they gave me the number to the appraisal office. So I called the appraisal office. The appraisal office said, we just show you how much it's appraised for. Then they gave me a number to call the courthouse, and the courthouse didn't answer. So I was like, oh man, they're gonna sell my property. But like I said, I sent certified letters. I said, I know y'all got it because you had to sign for it and y'all got my information. And like you said, those promissory notes out there floating and they're collecting money off of them and they're not even trying to let you know nothing, bro. They're not even trying to let you know.
Yeah, they're not gonna let you know. It's that study to shew thyself worthy and approved. They don't
register. Sorry.
If you wanna okay, like George Carlin says, it's a big club and you ain't in it. If you want a nice, strong, healthy club, you don't let weak ass people in.
Exactly.
That's what this is. That's what's happening here. If you really want to know the knowledge, you got to study to shew yourself worthy and approved to know it from the outside.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're just going to dismiss everything as if though you don't know because they think they know something else, and they usually do. They usually do.
Your green card.
It's a learning. It's still a learning experience. Go ahead.
Your green card registered mail. Look at how you're supposed to send securities. It's not that way. They don't have to look at it. It's registered mail.
Right.
And it's got to be, the stamp has to be put on it. The taxes have to be paid. And
man, I'm going to tell you like this. On that certified letter, I spent like $46. So, I mean, I'm
sure
pretty
you did.
Yes, it was certified.
And you did it wrong, sir.
Wrong?
Wrong.
Yeah, it's supposed to be registered
mail.
Yeah.
All securities go in the United States. All securities must be transported under registered mail. Then you can invoke the power of the Postmaster General.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Nubs is getting learned.
Yes, he is.
Already. I see you, man. I see you. You own it. You're on point. Yeah. That's good information, bro.
And that's because the Postal Service, again, guys, is the one with the Postal Realty Trust, Inc., which is the real estate investment trust registered with the Securities Exchange Commission. That's why the street name is the thing that's monetized as a street name security, and it's in the interest of the municipality for tax purposes, and it's bonded with the post office. You putting your name above that street and address is clarifying that you're the agent of the trust that is expressed below it. Unless you know how to change that format, it does not express the same thing. And you can, again, that's that 5-line address, and you gotta understand the importance of how to express that trust. It's telling you the municipality then is the trustee for the two beneficiaries acting coexistently, the two witnesses. And then the city, state, and zip, which is the expression of the trust for the Americans, the United States of America. That's the two beneficiaries. It ties it full circle.
Well, since they canceled it now, my run is to try to either put it on a allodial title or to try to patent it.
Right. And I don't know what kind of information you got on land patents and stuff, but I'm gonna or no, yeah, I already gave you that link, didn't I?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
The
good.
other
On the land
part that
patent.
you got, the other part you got to remember is anything done in the private like that, you need to make record in the public through the newspaper.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
going to act
big
as a
important.
witness. Right, that's going to act as a witness for you, and you can do that as a single man or a dual witness, so that way you still have a two witnesses.
But
Because now,
Well,
now that publishing is going to be a witness for you. Go ahead.
that publishing will give you a document that basically you add in and you send it off with the to the Secretary of State to establish the matter.
Okay, in Texas, it's a comptroller.
Same difference.
Yeah,
they're all
yeah,
this.
it's still a
It's a
commercial
different
issue.
title, but it's the same function.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Function
it's
over
still
form every time.
right. It's still dealing with the commercial issue, and the function of it is to make the distinction that you're not operating commercially.
Right. None of those properties are commercial. But one of my biggest pet peeves and problems that I'm having with it, the 32 acres that I have, man, I've been trying to break it up and sell it. But they got it. This guy was trying to sell him like a 200 by 200 lot. And they were telling him that, oh man, you can't buy that because there's such and such, this and that, something with the county. But the spot is called that I have is called Indian Creek. It's 32 acres and it's called Indian Creek.
Does
And
it
I was
border
kinda,
water?
yeah, there's a stream
Dude,
that comes
get
through.
paid. Get paid. Don't sell that shit.
That's what I've been trying to think about, man. I mean, that's why I fought for it, to come from auction, because y'all, I actually took the people down to man, my tongue tied right now. I took them down to the place where we try to figure out the format of the land and everything, and they told them, no, hey, get your money back and don't buy that land from them. I'm like, how you gonna tell them that? There's
That's
this spot that they're buying is right next. Yes, this spot that they're buying is right next to a house. So if that house is there and another house is on the other side, how you gonna say that this is a low spot, man? I mean, it's higher than the spots that.
Well, another thing though, I recommend checking into the National Forest Department and any kind of watershed grants, introduction of beavers and things like that.
Well,
yes,
I'm in
because the thing about it is there are plenty of grants that the federal government will pay you to take care of that land itself, because it is an invaluable resource to the local period.
Okay, so I need to look into the grant side of this thing.
Right.
Yes,
and
you do, sir.
A Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship program. This is the certificate that the postal services have to have in order to have a scale on their property for commercial conversions. Yes. They are the international monetary converters.
And they don't want to convert it to commercial. You're right.
Exactly. So you're going to have this equal station in life through an agricultural and stewardship certificate to make sure that the conservation easement is being upheld.
Man, that's good news.
And in turn, so redeeming the land.
Absolutely. And when we think about that redeeming your brother that sold things off, when you redeem your brothers, you do it as stewards the same way. And that redeeming of the land, of course, it's going to go to the creatures of the land as well. And as far as their system recognizes, animal includes man. So right from the jump, when you redeem the land, you're also redeeming the creatures and your brothers. It's all in one fell swoop.
Man.
And see, and another thing 27 made is that if it's in a, like you said, a creek, then I would recommend having the military come in and do a survey as far as a floodplain for the insurance purposes of that conservation easement.
Man, it's 32 acres. It's in a neighborhood. What happened is this guy came in. He built a lot of houses, and he ran off to Mexico with the money that he got, I guess the grants and everything from San Antonio, Texas. And I bought the property. And every time I try to get someone to purchase a piece, a small piece or something, they tell me, no, 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 no. You can. I'm like, there's a light meter right here. I mean, there's a transformer and there's water there, you know. So
Dude, they saved your ass by saying no, 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 because of this very conversation.
yes,
You had angels protecting you, and you thought they were
man.
demons.
And you're one. You're the angel, bro. You're one
I'm
of the
far
angels,
from
bro.
an angel. I'm just a messenger of the Most High.
There we go.
Absolutely, absolutely. All
I'm
right,
gonna
well,
get the
let's get.
ball rolling, man, because like I said, I mean, I'm doing everything in my power. And then I bought another property, man, that's an old school. Used to be an old school here in this town, and I mean, it's good, but I mean, they blocked off all the sewer that was here, and they blocked off the water that there was a well, and I mean, I got to do something. I mean, I don't. Right now, I'm
You
rolling
got a
on solar
shovel?
panels. I'm rolling on solar panels, and I'm rolling on. I fill up a big old barrel full of water all the time. So, but
Hey, I'll put it this way. I do construction and landscaping. We could do something there. I'm willing to travel if you're willing to pay.
if it gets good, I will. Like I said, that other property, like you say, right now, I'm at the point to where I'm thinking, like you say, those grants gonna have to come through, bro. Because if you're gonna stop me from making a sale on a piece of property, and I mean, I've done ample amount of contracts with different big contractors, and they come back and they say, man, we got to cancel the contract because the city won't let us do this and that. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, and
The city
that's
has
part of,
liability, and that's why they're telling no, no, no. They're looking out for their own ass, and you could be doing the same for yourself.
right, and
Yeah.
that's part of the problem is the city doesn't really qualify for a lot of this stuff because of their commercial structures and all the concrete slabs.
Right.
Whereas on the outside of the city, this is where a lot of these grants and stuff will be applicable, particularly through your agriculture and your national forest. And that's why they're called agricultural and land stewardship certificates, because that's the zone that they operate in. So
Okay, well, with this place telling everybody that I try to sell a piece of property to that they cannot do what they want to do on it, then I should be holding them liable for that too, because I mean, it's some kind of code that they're going by that lets them know that they don't want nobody building on the property.
right, but it all goes to 18 USC 7, 8, and 9. 18 USC 7 is the special maritime territorial jurisdiction that they're asserting. It's the obligations and other securities of the United States. All protection orders are securities of the United States. All protection orders are given full faith and credit. That conservation easement is a protection order for the wildlife and fisheries that live within those bounds. So 18 USC 9 is vessels of the United States. The vessels of the United States are the very documentation that evidence that.
Got it. And I'm going down there Monday, and I'm gonna raise some hackle about that, man, because I need to do something really quick, because I've had the land for over 10 years, and I've tried to sell pieces, and I sold 10 acres, and I've sold 4 acres of it, but they're telling them that they can't build on them and all this here, and I'm like, if you're gonna regulate me from doing that, man, I got to be compensated. If the city of San Antonio San Antonio's where I'm at, if y'all are gonna stop me from doing what I want to do on this property and the people that are trying to buy it from me, something has to be compensated, man, because that's not right.
Get those grants in order, man. Don't even fuck with the city. Get those grants. And I'm not giving you legal advice. This is what I would do. I would find what grants apply. I would start getting that grant process taken care of, and you will start getting a check for your services to your own land. That means it pays you.
Go into the grant department. Yeah, go into the grant department on this one, huh?
Just do a Google search as soon as you're done on
yeah.
Well, I've done a Google search. I mean, because it's called Indian Creek. It's called Indian Creek, and it's 32 acres, man. It's big. So, I mean, there's no information on the internet that's telling me nothing about the Indian Creek here in this town, and I was just kind of stoked because I was wondering why they was trying to take it from me, and at the same time, you want taxes on this property, and I can't do nothing with it.
Set your affairs up. Only taxpayers are supposed to pay taxes. You're an American, are you not, sir?
I'm an
You were
American.
not born in the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C.
No.
and or its territories such as Puerto Rico or Guam. Well,
No.
then, if that's the case, you need to stop being in acquiescence and scream. Get up there and do what you need to do. She has another video in it. She tells you in their process how to do it with their documents, so it is irrefutable information.
Yeah, and that's the link to her site is in the details section of this video, and I'll continue to put that in these videos until we're done reviewing these. But she's got a lot of good videos.
Yes,
if
she really knows her stuff.
If there's a slave master, there is also slave redeemer, and this woman, she will tell you the process to be your own redeemer. For even you will do greater things than even I, right?
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, let's get back to it.
It's only you that can do it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna get back. Yeah, we're gonna get back to it and get some more in there. Because, like I said, this is a 4 hour and 15-minute video. We're only an hour and 16 into it so far.
Man, I appreciate the information y'all giving me, man. Because, like I said, I've been on this thing.
Yep. Appreciate you doing something about it. That's why I say it's escalating, and we're getting more and more results because more and more people are becoming more aware and doing their job and doing the research to do it themselves.
Yes, sir.
Like I said earlier, got to get over the template stuff. They're good, but it should only be used for research. Learn how to state it yourself.
Here that ever took their remittance coupon to the bank, and they said, well, we can't do that. That's an international transfer. Well, it will be, because we are all foreign to the United States, and the Treasury is in the United States, which is the 10 square miles of the District of Columbia. So it would be a foreign transfer. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you got your 1099-C, you got your international bill of exchange.
And that's what a lot of these people have a hard time understanding. You ask them if we're in the United States and they say yes.
No.
They don't comprehend the fact that United States is located in Washington, D.C., and that what they've been taught in school with that overlay of saying all these 50 states is called the United States. It's not. The United States is the contracting, and that sits in Washington, D.C.
Another one that they get you with is nationality. If you read what black means, why do they call it Black's Law? Because it's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
You are not black, sir. I assume you are melanated, but you are far from black, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because I hear you speaking. So, and I would probably bet that you have more Native American lineage that is identifiable within your family than you do have African lineage whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm Choctaw.
There you go. So why is it that they're calling you an American? Why is it that they're calling you an African American when you have no lineage there? Because there's a trust set up for you. Huge trust. Miscellaneous. I don't know enough to speak on it. I just know of its existence.
Yes.
Set your affairs up correctly, correct your status, and all of a sudden you just start paying attention to all this. It all applies, and it all is kind of interchangeable because you're in the same venues for this, that, and the other thing. It's tax court.
Well, see, I'll set you up on this, man. This is how deep I am with it. That Indian Creek, it was 47 acres, man, and I bought it for $1,000.
That's a damn good price.
Good deal.
Yes.
Price.
And then I turned around, I bought 2.5 acres further out on the other side. See, I'm a country boy. I'm not a city. I can't do the city. But I bought 2.5 acres for $2,200. And then we turned around and bought 3.5 acres with this school that was on it. And I got the history on the school and how it was bought. It was bought for $10 back in the early 1900s by this lady, and I bought this property for $3,500. So I'm less than 10 grand and over 50 acres almost, man.
Yeah, I was gonna
Dude,
say
you got
that one.
yourself a deal.
Yeah, I was gonna
There
say
are
that one.
so. Go ahead.
The one that you got that you got for $1,000. I was gonna say it's hard. You'd be hard pressed to get any 1 acre anywhere in the United States for less than $1,500 nowadays.
I was blessed, man. I don't know if it's about that 40 acres and a mule on the LOL on that one, but I got the 40 acres and the 7 acres with a mule, I guess.
And
let me ask you this.
And hold on. I got Atara Tucker L in the background. It says device not connected. You'll have to go out and try to come back in. I have no way to bring you up on panel unless your device connects. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. What in the private, what stops you from creating a area where you can go do camping? Glamping? Think about it. People are broke as shit nowadays, right? They still want vacations. You set up a campsite that you charge them $1,000 for the week, right? You have 30 acres, whatever, 32 acres. You do 1 acre at $1,000. How much does that make you in 1 week during the summer or during the camping time?
Whoa.
You set that up.
There's about a 20 acre tract that I want to try to start doing hay. I mean, a lot of people have horses this way, so, and cows.
No, do wildflowers, man. Bring it, restore it. That's what those grants are all about. It's not making the hay, it's making the money, because the government is not going to run out of fiat. And they're going to just keep on sending you a check. You go put it as a security, you deposit it into your account, and they'll give you double back.
And I'm going to bet you could get more out of lavender than you could hay.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Absolute way more than with lavender than you would ever get with hay.
Yeah, I mean, they had me in a bind with this property, man, because like I say, I try to sell it.
No. Quit affirming that, man. You are not in a bind. You are in an opportunity. You just didn't know your opportunity, sir.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I'll quit talking. You can get back.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to it. We gotta get through this video, guys.
And you have your Secretary of State. All three have worked. No pushback, no flat.
You see what I'm saying, babe?
It worked. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you lean back, way back on it. Lean your items. And that is how you can lawfully discharge your debt. Endorse the contract if you got one. That's it. Make sure you put your stamps to pay the taxes, because guess what? We have to keep our hands clean at all times, regardless of what they're doing. We got to keep our hands clean. So as long as you keep your hands clean,
imperative,
they do, you're gonna be okay.
Imperative. Equity demands coming with clean hands.
You got your 1099. You got your international bill of exchange, and as I said, if it was me, I would put a nice little number on there. Once I got my TDA account set up, and I'll take that to the bank and say, hey, because y'all gonna have the banking dictionary to back up them having to deposit that international bill of exchange. And whatever amount you put on there, between you, your bank, and your card. But know that they give you no pushback with those international bill of exchanges, because you just brought revenue into the bank. And then don't forget, now let's just say you did one for $1 million.
And what is revenue? Everything exists in private assets.
Yes.
It must then be revenued. Then they can convert a transfer into public assets through a credit system by selling off those assets in a bankruptcy. That's all that's happening. All you got to do is prevent the private asset from being transferred and using a collateral document for its value. It's all a credit system.
That's being modest.
Lean on that shit.
Remember, they got to shoot it through the TDA, so now you got 2. And don't forget, that's going to develop a Q-sub number. And then now you're trading your Q-sub number through the international auction on the Treasury. So now let's talk about our babies. When I say that these people gave us everything that we needed, when y'all go on that TDA treasury account and open up y'all accounts, there is one for you to open up for your minors. So when the Bible says leaving a heritage for our children, this is what they were talking about.
Okay. Let's pull up 31 CFR 363.10. And it says, this is money and finance, regulations relating to money and finance, fiscal service, Department of the Treasury, Bureau of the Fiscal Service, regulations governing securities held in Treasury Direct, general provisions governing securities held in Treasury Direct. And what she's talking about is there's a primary account. You set up a primary account as an individual that can then have a linked account for transfers. Oops. And a custom account for a minor. So you can make transfers of gifts to your minor within the Treasury by issuing gift bonds.
That mature over time.
Correct. Johnny's college fund, I'm going to gift him a gift bond of $10,000 in this minor account. No one is going to be able to touch that. And when it goes to Johnny for his college fund, it's a gift. It's non-taxable. And it's not a debt. It's a credit. Closing an account. If a Treasury Direct primary account and all associated linked accounts have had no holdings and no activity for a period of over 2 years, we reserve the right to close the account along with all linked accounts. There is no other reason given for closing an account. So whoever mentioned earlier about they closed your account, won't give you access, they have to give you a proper reason. And the only reason that they give here is that if a Treasury Direct primary account and all associated linked accounts have had no holdings and no activity for a period of 2 years, if they close it when you establish it, you've got 2 years to complete your process to get something in that account. Until then, they're not supposed to be closing it. They have no right to close it because it hasn't developed yet. It hasn't been established properly. And if you're in the process of establishing it, they're supposed to help you correct it, not close it and say, no, we're not going to let you do this anymore. That's them making a determination of law, which violates this particular section. There's only one reason, and that is if they've had no holdings and no activity for a period of 2 years.
You open up a minor's account for your child. You will be over the minor's account. The securities that is held within that minor account has to stay in that account for that child until that child is 18. For every security you put through your account, you can then take and put through your child account and make sure that your child is well off on their 18th birthday, because it will transfer over to them. Okay. I will open up for questions. LaCora, that's my sister. Y'all see her up there. She's also my admin. That's my sister. We will do about a raise of a hand process. Yes, it has been recorded. Yes, everybody that's in here will get a copy of the recording, as well as examples of international.
And like I said, I dropped the link to her Facebook page in the chat. I'll grab it again and drop it one more time. You can check her out on Facebook and get with her in private messaging there or whatever. And I'm sure she's going to be glad to help you out. Just another way to contact her rather than just through YouTube. It's one of those things about this thing accelerating in awareness. We're covering more platforms and more people are connecting with greater and greater information. with many more different paths along the way.
Also remember, if you are getting a hold of her, she has already instilled value into you.
Yes. Yes. And that's why I'm putting that link out, is so that you can look her up and let her know that you saw her video and you have further questions. That she's made a good investment herself and she's getting returns on it.
She's gonna, I'll tell you, the landscaping project that I see in my head, she's gonna love. I'll tell you that. Like, whether it ever gets done, it's on her discretion. But once my shit gets done, then I have time to be able to do that. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be a time and place for her to relax.
The bill of exchanges that you will be able to use. You will get the banking dictionary. I'll even put a reminder, or I may even throw the PDFs in there for the Emergency Banking Act, the Trustee Act, and how to find a trustee, because they're not easy. I've been doing it for a minute, so I can pull them up kind of quickly. I know you guys are going to need some help there, so I'll try to assist as much as possible. I am putting a Excel spreadsheet together with all of the trustees' information on there that will also be available to make it easier for everyone. So I'll just ask that you limit your questions to not so many, so that everybody can get through. We do have 97 people on the call, and I want to make sure that I can get to everybody. For y'all that was in my class before, I know y'all like, is she done already? Because we used to be on this phone for 4 or 5 hours. Guess what? When they created a process for us, it don't take that long. Because every document that y'all see I pulled up is theirs outside of the International Bill of Exchange, but we're all private bankers, so we're able to use that. Okay, so let me figure out how I unlock this so I can get some questions in. So we got some hands raised. Cheyenne, you can unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Wizard, her video is
really
pretty
short
much over.
or-
It's just question and answer from here. Great question and answer, though. It would behoove you to take time and go through all those questions and answers, because she has more answers than you have questions. I'm going to drop my email in the back chat. If you want to get a hold of me about that land, if you want to do something, I whether it's my ideas or my physical work, one way or another, I'd be happy to give my assistance.
Yes, sir. I'm looking. I'm out of the chat. I'm trying to figure out how to get back
In
in
the
there.
private chat, not in the main chat. I'm not giving that to everybody. Just the 4 people up on this panel.
On the right-hand side of the screen there, you should have a thing that says comment. Oops, he just dropped.
He'll be back.
Yeah, let me drop the link again just in case he comes back and doesn't see it down below. Oh, there he is. He made it. Okay. Yeah, if you go to the right side of your screen there should be a comments, banners, brand, or private chat. Should be a private chat over there somewhere.
If you're on your phone, it's the 3rd icon over from the bottom. It looks like a chat box, and it says chat. There's private and public.
Okay, I just pushed the chat.
Did it bring you to chat or comments?
It's got chat, but there's nothing here. It says chat with everyone
Okay.
in the studio.
Okay, you have to put it in again because he
Yep.
dropped out when you put it up. So he
Yep,
yeah,
there
there
you
you
go.
go.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
get a hold of me,
Hold
and
on.
like I said, either way, one way or another, I'd be happy to give assistance where I'm able to. And if
Let
you
me
want to see
see.
my work, it's right there on my icon. I built all of that, except for the garage.
Let me see. It's okay.
And I'd appreciate it if you kept that private.
Okay. It's not letting me.
Grab yourself a pen and paper, write it down.
Okay, well, I'm way out of the position right now. Let me see if I can get back to it. It's telling me.
You got to go back to where it says chat, not comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're on your phone.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You went to the other side. At the top, it says StreamYard and all that stuff. There's a chat, a comments, and then an X. You want to hit the chat.
It's got me in stream recordings. Let me see. Upcoming and past.
Hit your back button. Hit your back button.
Okay. Let me see if it'll take me back.
Way back.
I seen it. I seen it. But then I clicked on it and it took me somewhere else. Let me see.
Speaking of doing things, Wizard, I'm going to be
Timber
headed down
contracting?
to. What's that?
There you go. Yep.
Timber
Yep.
contracting.
Yep.
Okay.
Not quite keeping it in private, but
Yeah,
nevertheless.
you don't say it out in public.
Okay.
But yeah,
Wizard,
that's the one.
I'm gonna be traveling south. I would definitely like to meet up with you. Maybe smoke some of the whatchamacallits.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
So you have my email. Shoot an email to me, and we'll make that happen. Because I'd like to shake your hand. I'd like to break some bread with you, sir.
Man,
absolutely.
Like I say, I'm just a regular person, bro. I'm a master electrician. I was making $50 an hour. I quit about 15 years ago, and this land just poured in my lap, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Dude, you have so many options you don't even freaking comprehend right now. If you're a master electrician, ironically, I've been working on power systems within somebody's personal property.
Mm-hmm.
There's a housing development. Let me guess. There's probably grants to get that power up.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's all sorts of options that we could take, or you could take, wherever I fit in, however I fit in, if I fit in. There's options. That land is a blessing to you, sir.
Yeah, and I've rolled over mostly on the solar power side, and I'm learning a whole lot about that because I'm on the distribution side.
No. Solar power is not the way to go. Solar power recycling is ridiculous. It's like $50 a panel that it costs, and the return on those for junking them out is like $2.50. It costs you $50. It's not the way to go, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there are much better ways. Get a hold of me. We'll chat.
Okay. Because like I say, I got the batteries, I got the solar panels, I got the inverter. I'm not even tied to the city, period.
Perfect.
Yeah. If you got water flowing through that property, that would be one of your best.
They capped off they capped off the water well, man, but I'm trying to figure out how I can, because they've been doing that a lot down here in this town. I'm not really from here, but I noticed these people are letting them pour cement down their wells so that they can get regular city water. And I'm like, guy, y'all are like 10 to 8 miles out the city, and y'all letting them put city water in your front yard? No, man.
Well, it's
yeah. See, that's
way
why
they have overreach.
That's that territorial jurisdiction overlay.
Yes.
And that's why I suggest using the agricultural and land stewardship program. Get some kind of grant. They can't overstep that. That's
federal.
That's using that conservation easement for its specific purposes, which is to protect the wildlife and not fluoridate it.
Yes.
You have a lot more option. Like literally, this is one of those conversations that if you act upon it, you're going to be blessed. Period. Yeah. Whether it's with me, with anybody, or on your own, period. On your own, you're blessed beyond belief because of what you have currently. Set it up correctly, And all of a sudden, your detriment, the thing that has been dragging you down, now becomes your major asset because you never realized it was an asset in the first place. Other than
Exactly.
with
I
that
never
first
knew.
purchase.
Yeah, I never knew. I never knew, man. I mean, I've had it for over 10 years. And like I say, I was trying to sell pieces off and, just try to give people, a little spot they can have for their own. And everybody that went to that public place, for us finding out whether they can do anything, and they would say no, no, no. And I'm like, man, this property's right here. There's a transformer here. There's water here. Why are y'all not letting them do it?
So
Yeah, see,
here's something that I would strongly recommend. Your old lady's there.
Uh-huh.
Have her type in a Google search, glamping in your area. GLAMPING.
You hear
Glamping,
that?
not camping, glamping.
Glamping.
Yep. Just do a Google search and look for a place to go glamping. You look at those prices and you attribute that to that 32 acres that you have.
and also look up a term called boondocking.
Yes.
I've heard
Right.
of that.
BOONDOCKING. Boondocking. Now this is for sojourners that are traveling around the land
Mhm.
and they need a place to stay, a temporary place to stay, but they're not glamping. They're going to stay for a while and exchange their services in trade for the stay.
Right.
Yep. And that way your commitment to the federal government is therefore taken care of by those people for their simple sojourning.
Yeah, you basically got the same thing as a national parks campground for glampers with your own little maintenance crew that comes and goes, known as sojourners that come and boondock here and there.
See, this is bigger than me, man. This is all new to me.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
wonderful day
developing.
for you, sir.
Yeah, it's developing a natural come and go community of foreign traders. That's truly what we are.
You're right.
And there's plenty of us out there that would facilitate. If I could come to your property, stay for a month and work for a week and be able to forage,
There's plenty of work here. There's plenty of work down here too. For
that's what I'm
landscaping.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get where I'm not even worried about me. I'm saying as a community across the boards, because if you have it in Texas, I have it in Minnesota, Wyzard has it down in his state, and Russ has it in his state. Guess what? Now we have 4 different locations that we can vacation at no charge.
Exactly.
Correct.
With a little bit of equity brought forth by sweat, which is what we're supposed to do. We now have 4 different vacations, and they're going to pay us for it, because if you set your affairs up right, you throw all that shit back into the accounts, all those travel expenses.
And that's how you develop a network of communities across the land that operate the same way as the federal government, merely a type of territorial overlay. They operate publicly, you operate privately.
Yeah, I try to stay in the private. I'm trying to stay in the private.
Don't try to stay in the private, except for announcements in the newspaper.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And with that, guys, I'm going to bring it to the end of tonight's stream. Any words on the way out? And like I said, truth and empowerment, I'll look at that email when we get done here and I'll give you a response sometime tomorrow. And before we go out, I want to let everybody know that I'll go ahead and do that video or stream tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Reverse Morris Trust. So be watching for that. I'll go ahead and get that up tonight.
Awesome.
My final words are, I appreciate the conversation, and think about the symbol above me. Odin gave up his eye for wisdom.
Yes, sir.
And what are we doing? We're giving our eyes for wisdom.
Sacrifice yourself unto yourself there.
That's it. That's absolutely it. Put yourself in the right position and get to work.
Yes, yes.
Knowledge is key.
No,
We all have
knowledge
Absolutely.
a
is
piece to
power.
share.
The application of knowledge is key.
Yeah, and the knowledge is that benefit. Like I said, without
Yep.
knowledge, my people are destroyed. So if that's
Destroyed, man.
destroying us, so if that's what's destroying us, then what builds us back up is that very knowledge. All right. Well, with that, folks, I want to let everybody know I love you. I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. So remember that and know that. May God bless you and have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Night all.
Thank